This is David, the second kid in this franchise with that name to die on his birthday. But they might be the same person. It's not clear yet, but we're not talking about that today. What is clear is that he's probably the key to understanding the story Stillwell has been trying to tell us. The real question is, how did David die? No, not that one. In Tales, David Murray dies by running into the road after his ball. It's heavily implied that the Sodom David dies this way as well. That's not the only clue we get about David's death. In fact, we get a lot of clues that he died in the Storytime showroom. The first hint comes from Candy Cadet in Ruin. Collect all 5 fast tokens. Say that 5 times fast. And Candy Cadet tells you a story piece by piece.
Now I will tell you a story about a mother and a little boy who lived alone in a cabin in the dark woods. There was a monster in the woods, but the mother caught it and kept it locked in the basement. The monster always made scary noises at night, but the mother would tell the boy not to worry because it could never get out. Then she would sing the boy a lullaby to sleep. One day, the monster stopped growling and instead listened and learned the lullaby. The next day, when Mother went out to find food, the monster sang the lullaby from the basement. The little boy heard the lullaby and opened the door.
I initially assumed the story was about Gregory or Cassie, but because they were the only kids in the game. But now we have David. Candy Cadet's story has just a few elements. A boy and his mom, a dark forest, a monster in the basement, the boy left alone while his mom gets food, and a lullaby. All of which appear in Secret of the Mimic. Walking up to the Storytime showroom, we see a hallway covered in trees with faces, like the forest scene from Snow White. Inside, there's a little cub area where David and the Mimic hang out. We know that from the sketches, candy bars, and the books. So a cabin in the dark woods with a boy and his mom. Now for the next piece, we head below the showroom. You can use executive access to navigate through the factory to the elevator, put in the code, and ride down. Or just jump straight down the massive hole in the floor. Either way, you end up in the basement with the monster singing a lullaby. And as for the boy being left alone while his mother goes to get food, that happens too on, let me see here. Yeah, David's birthday. These pieces line up almost perfectly with Candy Cadet's story in Ruin. There's actually in-game evidence to back this up. In the Big Top showroom, there are 3 carnival games you can play, and each one has its own song, with suspicious titles. The one nearest the Storytime showroom is Moments Before Disaster, the song for the game that unlocks the door to the Storytime area, Catastrophe, behind door number 3. And finally, we have Artemis on a collision course, which feels very on the nose. All 3 songs point towards something tragic happening in or around the Storytime showroom. We get a lot of hints that the birthday showroom is left as a shrine to Fiona. I suspect another shrine is the Storytime area for David. This would explain why the area hasn't been fixed. And where do we find David's ball in-game? In the moon, in the basement. So let's try to put this together. David, alone again on his birthday, goes to the Storytime showroom, an area we suspect he loves based on the clues from moon.exe and notes scattered around the room. There, he hears a lullaby his mother used to sing to him. Then he opens a door, as Candy Cadet says, and plunges to his death. Now that door part is a little vague. Is it the one we find behind the moon in-game, the one that, when opened, reveals David's ball? Or is it a metaphor for the gaping hole that runs through 3 floors of the building? I don't have a final answer for that, but either way, we end up with a story that fits Candy Cadets perfectly. And maybe, just maybe, reveals the true fate of David Murray. Thanks for watching. and let me know in the comments what you think.